I'll let you in on a little secret about our show. We can mention one topic, and I can get the phone lines to light up the rest of the way till noon, okay? And that topic is simply the cost of auto insurance. People in this state have absolutely turned on no-fault auto insurance, especially with that long-term care that has been set up with billions of dollars in a fund that's overseen by the auto industry. And there have been calls for reforms for years now. And there's a new effort underway in the new legislature to make some changes. It's in the Senate, and it's being introduced by a man from Lawton. And Lawton, by the way, is just south of I-94 by a couple of miles, south of Paw Paw. It's out west of Kalamazoo. Okay? And Aric Nesbitt is the senator from that 26th district and on the other end of our line after introducing an effort to start making changes in no fault. Nice to have you with us, Senator. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks, Frank, for having me on the show, and looking forward to the new legislative session. And
Yeah.
you're right. I'm right off from exit 60 and I-94.
Beautiful.
So I'll give your listeners a little idea of where I'm at along I-94.
All right. Your Chamber of Commerce can send the check to. I'm just kidding. People think I'm serious. Somebody will send me an email over that. I guarantee.
Sarcasm. You just can't get enough of that.
Yeah, exactly right. All right. So, what are you proposing here in your package of bills on no fault that you want to start addressing?
So this is Senate Bill number 1. So this is the first bill that was introduced this legislative term, and it's all about reducing the cost of car insurance for Michigan's drivers. I think Michigan drivers are sick and tired of paying the highest auto insurance rates in the country. I probably hit over 10,000 doors last year as I was campaigning for state senate. Far and away, the top issue that I heard at the doors was drive down the cost of auto insurance. Our average rates here in Michigan, it's not just make-believe, our average rates are over 80% of that of the average in the nation right now. We're the most expensive state in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan drivers should never have to choose between providing for their families or paying sky-high car insurance rates. And I think you see that as with tens of thousands of Michigan drivers that are driving around without car insurance because of the high rates, which then drives up the rates even more. And so as we introduced legislation yesterday, looking forward to working with Lana Tice, who's the chairwoman of the Insurance and Banking Committee, and that's where it was referred. I'm on that committee. I'm going to work with her and the Senate Majority Leader Shirkey, who put this as Senate Bill number 1. But the Senate auto insurance reforms will include, giving drivers the ability to choose the personal injury protection coverage that best meets their needs and budget, reduce medical cost inflation related to auto insurance claims that currently are 90% higher than the normal health care insurance and inflation costs. Cracking down on unnecessary medical treatment, products, and services. We need to reduce fraud and the conflicts of interest we see in the auto insurance system. And really allow seniors on Medicare to enjoy the savings on their auto insurance by choosing to not carry the personal injury protection coverage since they effectively already have coverage for their injuries. So really the whole goal is to make auto insurance more affordable for Michigan's drivers through comprehensive reforms that adds flexibility, that controls costs, and encourage more competition in the insurance marketplace.
Will this package of bills do anything about changing the way that insurance companies are charged for various forms of treatment in hospitals? Because we keep hearing these nightmare stories about, the first question from a hospital before you get that MRI was, did your injury happen in a car accident or in some other way? And if it's a car accident, the price goes way, way up for the same thing that, you might have suffered falling down the stairs at home and be covered under your medical insurance. So it's that disparity that is being blamed for so much of the high cost.
Yeah, that's one of the major drivers. And over the next several weeks, we're in a listening and learning process through the committee process. And in my office, I'm always willing to sit down with anybody willing to talk about how do you cut the cost of auto insurance. But that has to be part of that conversation. It has to be part of that comprehensive reforms because that's what's really been driving up a lot of the costs. You hear some procedures that cost $300 through your Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance that cost thousands of dollars when it's through a auto insurance case. And so that's really driving up the cost of auto insurance for Michigan's drivers. And I've heard estimates that 1 out of 5 to 1 out of 4 Michigan drivers are driving around without auto insurance, and that's a lot of and that puts more costs on the back of drivers that are insuring their cars.
Well, that catastrophic claims fund keeps going up. It's got, what, $20 billion or so in there already, and I don't think all that money could be spent if we tried.
We really need to take a comprehensive look at the whole system. We're unique. The system was established in the 1970s, before I was born. A lot of things have changed since the 1970s. Michigan's auto insurance laws have not drastically changed since then, and we've just seen costs continue to skyrocket. And I think working together, we can find ways to bring down the cost. I'm excited to see Speaker Chatfield in the House side appoint a special committee on the cost of auto insurance. Speaker Pro Tem Wentworth is leading up that charge in the House. I'm looking forward to working across the aisle with a lot of the new members here in the Senate and also working around the chamber. And I'm hoping, Governor Whitmer campaigned last year on lowering the cost of auto insurance. I have to take her at her word, and I hope we can produce legislation that will drive down the cost of auto insurance and be able to get her signature after we get it on her desk.
And we'll have more on this effort to change Michigan's auto no-fault cost problem with State Senator Aric Nesbitt coming up here on the Frank Beckman Show. State Senator Aric Nesbitt of Lawton with us here on the Frank Beckman Show. He's the Republican from the 26th District, and he's leading the way on Senate Bill number 1, which is a reform of auto no-fault here in Michigan. What exactly would happen under your bills? How would it change the way we approach no-fault? Would it still be a required insurance here in the state? Would we still have to put money into the catastrophic fund? What would stay? What would go?
Yeah, so this is all part of the process that we're going to be working on through the committee work. The brass tacks, bringing people in to testify, sitting down with experts. But it's really, there's two main cost drivers as I've seen it so far. One is that you are not able to pick the level of protection on your personal injury side for your auto insurance. You're able to do that with any other kinds of insurance, right? Your life insurance, your house insurance, your any kind of insurance that you purchase that's out there, you're able to pick the level of protection. But this is the one area where the state government's telling the individual that they know best. I think that's one part is that you're not able to choose the level, the level of coverage. It's a one size fits all. Then the second side is controlling the cost in terms of on the medical side and figuring out ways to drive down those costs to provide real savings to Michigan drivers so we can have more people that are insured on the road so we can cut the cost. We've come so far over the last 8 years, tremendous strides since the lost decade. Unemployment and crime are down. Incomes and populations are up here in Michigan. 550,000 new private sector jobs, but the high and ever increasing cost of auto insurance remains a problem that really needs to be fixed. Michigan's no-fault auto system was adopted in 1973, so what was that, 46 years ago? And with the promise of fewer lawsuits, faster payments to accident victims, and lower rates. None of those promises you can say are true today. We really need to do a comprehensive reform that'll drive down the cost of auto insurance.
See, it seems as if everybody is in favor of this, and it's been talked about for how long up there in Lansing, and nothing ever happens. There's never any action that drives down the rates, even though Republicans, Democrats, Independents all say we've got to do it. What is the holdup? What is standing in the way?
I think it's just powerful special interests that are up here in Lansing. Let's be honest. Whenever you're outside the square mile around the state capitol, they don't, in terms of the details, they just want to get it done. The average driver, the average person out on the street just wants us to get it done. And you get these moneyed special interest groups from all over the spectrum. I don't care whether they're the insurance side or the hospital side or the medical provider side. I don't care who I make upset. I want to actually drive down the cost for auto insurance. And so it's one of those things where we need to put the driver, our Michigan motorist in the driver's seat instead of the special interest. And 2 years ago, I believe the former speaker had a vote on the floor. And I think out of the 110 members, you could only get, 43 or 44 yes votes. And now my hope is that with the turnover in the Senate, I think we have nearly 29 new state senators. A lot of them haven't served before, and hopefully have heard the same stuff I heard last year as I hit thousands and thousands of doors, and we need to drive down the cost of auto insurance. There's a lot of new members in the House. Hopefully they heard the same thing, and so hopefully they'll listen to the average person on the street instead of the the deep-pocketed money and interest.
Okay, when you say the deep-pocketed money interest, are you talking about these, and we know who they are, you've identified them all, and we know they're hospitals, insurers, you name it, that are included here. But are these just campaign contributions that are turning heads, or is there more to it?
I mean, there's employees in the district. There's people that make their living off from the current system. And whenever you change a product where people have only seen it one way over the last, 46 years, as I said, and have developed entire business models around this that have unlimited access to money and funds, you see a system grow up that needs to be changed. And so that's one of those areas is that, when you're talking about trying to save a motorist $300 or $400, they're not going to come up and storm around the state capitol. But when somebody has, a business model where they're making hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars online, you'll see them hiring lobbyists and coming up to the state capitol on either side. Mm-hmm. And so this is why I want to concentrate on the Michigan driver instead of, the interests that are out there. And a lot of people have different ideas on how to tackle this issue. I'm always, open to listen to folks. But I think, the two main ways to really drive down the costs for Michigan drivers on their auto insurance to make it more affordable is to provide choice for the motorists, actually empower the individual over the state mandates, and then novel concept for America, right? and then on the backside of getting a control on the costs that actually are paid to the providers.
All right, well, good luck. We'll continue to bug you and follow up on this and watch the progress as it moves along, Senator Nesbitt. Good of you to join us this morning. Best of luck. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Frank. Have a great day.
State Senator Aric Nesbitt leading the way on Senate Bill number 1 to reform auto insurance costs.